Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Angel.
Hello.
We are back for week 8 of Port Charles Tempted. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. Okay, so we opened. I don't know if we missed a small snippet of a scene, but we opened with Karen and Chris discussing her blood results.
Mm-hmm.
He's asking her how she's feeling, if she's having any weird cravings, because the mutation of her cells, I guess, indicate that she could be a vampire. She's not craving any blood. She's like, I haven't robbed the blood bank or anything. But she's like, her libido is out of control.
It's like,
and then she started to I couldn't tell if she genuinely was coming on to Chris or if she was just fucking with him.
I think she was messing with him. I think she was definitely messing with him.
But she was kissing his neck.
Kissing his neck and nibbling his ear.
And then he said that there's something about her fragrance or perfume that's doing something to him. And I'm like, is that just the allure, like how Caleb can control Livy or whatever? Is that coming off of her and he's attracted to her? I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't really explain that much.
They didn't explain it. They didn't really explain it at all.
But then later, we're in the lobby, and I was like, son of a bitch, they got me again.
Yeah, they did. They got me too.
They were making out, and they were gonna have sex in the lobby, pretty much.
Yeah,
and I was like, this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. And then I'm like, wait, is it? And then it turns out it was Chris's fantasy as he was staring at Karen. He's an obsessive person, isn't he?
He really is, yeah.
I feel like he gets hooked on a girl and then he just stalks them.
Yeah.
At least in my experience. This and Livy, and then
this is Livy.
Did he do it with Julie or Eve or any of the other girls?
I think he did. He might have did it with Julie. I don't remember too much about their relationship right now, but
well, going off the pilot, was Julie the file that he stole?
Yeah, Julie was the one the file that he stole.
Okay, so I'm gonna assume it was Julie that he was obsessed with in the beginning.
Yeah.
So Karen wants to plan a weekend getaway with Frank, and this is kind of what cut into the fantasy, and Chris overhears this, and I guess he's gonna do something to sabotage it.
Yeah.
So Lucy, we picked up with her in the park. She saw Christina again, and she's screaming for her, and Kevin shows up, and they're just running around in circles around the park screaming for her, and he's like, are you sure you saw her? You didn't see somebody that looked like her? And she's like, no, I know what my daughter looks like. She needs me. And then she gets frustrated with Kevin, and she's like, forget it, I'll do it myself. Go, why don't you go take care of your actually living daughter or whatever. And he's like, fine, I will.
I like their bickering. I really did like their bickering.
We also pick up with Eve and Ian in the hotel room, where they found the baby that was taken by Livy, and planted there because then the doorman came, or whatever he was, chauffeur, maitre d', I don't know, whoever works at the hotel.
I think he said the doorman's coming back, so I think that is the doorman.
So he had delivered plane tickets, one for him and the baby. So now Eve's all paranoid that he did this and he was trying to take the baby. So then Ian's trying to make sense of this. He calls the doorman back and he's like, who ordered these tickets? And he's like, you did, sir. You asked me to do it. So now Eve is just spiraling.
Yeah.
And it all kind of culminates with her leaving with the baby and meeting up with Kevin. And she's like, I have to protect my baby. I have to get a divorce. And I'm like, what?
You guys just got married.
You've been married for 2.5 months. What?
Yeah.
Things are moving very quickly.
Yeah. Especially with what happens in a few arcs. I don't think you should be getting a divorce.
It's almost like how it was on last week that we
Uh-huh.
watched.
It was
It was like
almost
she got the restraining order on Monday, and she
Mhm.
ripped it up by Wednesday. This week, it
Yeah.
was like, I have to get a divorce, and we were in a custody trial by Wednesday. The 21-minute show, how did we get this so fast?
It went like boom, 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 boom.
So on the non-supernatural side,
Mhm.
we have Jamal and Allison, not Jamal and Allison, Allison and Jack
Mhm.
snooping around the adopted parents of the baby that Valerie gave up.
Mhm.
And they first knock on the door and they say that they're students. I don't remember what the reason they gave.
A sociology class
Okay.
taught
And,
by a specific professor that doesn't exist.
right. So the man that answers, I don't know if he's a teacher or he knows people that work at the school.
Mhm.
Excuse me. But he's like, oh, and he names a name that works at the college, and they're like, yeah, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I just made that up. So he like calls their bluff, and he's like, thinks they're weirdos, and he doesn't understand why they're snooping around, and basically slams the door in their face. Um, I don't. I mean, I get it because Livy was planting doubt, but like, Allison's a meddler, and I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, it surely is. But remember, she also asked for their like DNA from the baby to prove that Jamal is or is not the father.
Right.
Like either like I think it was like she's like a cut of her hair or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Um. So this results in them pretty much revoking visitation rights from Valerie because they think Valerie is behind this.
Mhm.
And I like that we got a little General Hospital like connection chat out when Jamal was like, "Oh, I'll talk to my cousin Dala, whatever, what is her name? Dara. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like that they connected, but
Yeah.
just like these little nuggets. Um, see what she could do. That turns out there is nothing that she could do. Um, and Valerie's just like really super confused. She's like, I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything. She's like, we had an agreement. She's like, I followed all the rules. She's like, I gave them my baby. Like,
Yeah.
so she's like really confused and hurt by this. And so now Allison, because she's a meddler, she has to go, I guess, make it worse by like trying
Mhm.
to like get them to change their minds.
Yeah.
So they're back, and this time the wife was there. I don't know if the wife was there the first time. I know that
She
the
was, yeah,
husband
because she
was.
came to the door and was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Okay. So then she was like, we were thinking about doing this anyway because the child's getting older and she's gonna have more questions. She, right? It's a daughter, it's a girl.
Yeah, she Hope.
Oh, Hope, right? Um, she's like, so this just kind of expedited things pretty
Mhm.
much. So thanks, Allison.
Thanks, Allison.
No Gabby this week, right?
No, there was no Gabby.
Is her contract almost up? Like, I feel like that character, because of her connection to Caleb, would be like prime to like write for.
I mean, now I don't know. What am I saying? I know she leaves in the not the next arc, but the arc after it.
She lives in Secrets.
She leaves in Secrets, yeah.
Is she actually like in the arc, or does she leave at like the beginning?
I know she leaves at some point, but I don't know when. And then I know they bring Ricky on, but I forgot when they
I
bring him.
remember
Yeah.
about Ricky and the blonde girl and Joy Bisco. I
Joey
never know the character's
Bisco.
name. I just know the
So it's
actress.
Joey Bisco, the blonde woman who was the Orbits woman.
Uh-huh. Oh, right,
Practice
right.
no matter
Oh
what.
my god! Why didn't I never put that together?
Yeah. And then it was like the brown hair. That was the one with the long brown hair. The three.
The minute you said it in my head, I hear fabulous. Like,
That's what.
oh wow! Well, you just blew my mind on a Sunday morning. um. So what? Like we already said, Wednesday is already like a custody hearing,
Hmm.
and I thought Eve was doing well until she started like going off the rails and started talking about vampires and stuff.
No, she didn't talk about the vampires. Lucy brought it up.
No, but I didn't. When Eve was like on the stand, didn't she start shouting like vampires? I feel
No,
like
she didn't. She didn't say vampires until, like, when they did the cuts, which I really like when they did Ian's side and then cut Eve's,
oh,
like blackout cut Eve's side. Like she didn't say much about the vampires until Lucy said something and then Eve said something.
oh, so Lucy set her off.
Lucy set her off.
Okay. Livy comes in and she tries to, like, I guess, play peacemaker.
Yeah, she brought the baby because and we'll get
Well,
to it.
she brought the baby because Caleb wanted her because that would stir shit up. But
Yeah.
she pretended to be like, "Oh, I just thought like it would be a good idea if the baby was here. Did I walk in on something?" She knew. um, so because this is all a mess, the judge is pretty much like, nobody seems stable, so I'm gonna put this baby in child protective
Protective custody,
services.
yeah.
um, so Livy goes home. She wants to Lucy, I think, offers for her to stay with her for the night.
Yeah, so they could get so they could get ice cream and stuff.
Right. And while she's like, I guess, packing an overnight bag, she sees this red shirt or shawl or whatever. And the music starts. The music that apparently she hears because she called it out. She's like, "Does anybody else hear this music?" But yeah, the music plays, the vision, like, she gets blurry or whatever, and she starts to have flashbacks, and she's starting to remember everything she's done. Um, I wonder why. Well, I know that red thing, whatever it was, triggered her memory, but I wonder if there's like, is there something special about Livy that she's like that she's able to fight through Caleb's powers?
I guess so. Yeah.
Meanwhile, through all of this, we have Rafe in heaven, like being like, "I need to do something.
I knew there's something.
I need to tell these people," and apparently he's
Well,
not
wait,
allowed to tell these
weren't they
people.
in the weren't yeah, wasn't Rafe on no, I feel like no, I think Heaven came first. No. No, Heaven came first. Then he was on the ground and Caleb and Livy were there.
Right.
Livy interrupts him talking to Judd Allen and like talking to Judd Allen from the ground.
Yeah.
And then Caleb comes and then something happens where like he tries to like break the curse from Livy and then he gets sent back to heaven.
Yeah, was he not allowed to do that?
He's not allowed to do that because when he got back to heaven, Judd Allen, which I don't know the guy's name, I'm sorry. I just call him Judd Allen because it's Santa Barbara.
The actor, like me with Joy Disco. I'm just like, just Joy Disco.
So, because he showed him like if he told Livy about what happened, she would have gotten killed. Like she would have fell and died.
She would
in
just
the
drop
river.
dead.
Yeah, she would have fell and died in the river.
So she has to find out like on her own naturally, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what
He's allowed to like plant like clues though, right? He
Yeah,
just
he's
can't
not
let
playing
himself.
clues. He's not allowed to outright tell people.
So then
Because
maybe he planted that red shirt for her to trigger her memory.
I didn't think about that, but I'm wondering if that's what it is.
That's weird. So yeah, she starts believing everything. I guess I didn't even think about this. Livy was Christina. She like morphed into like a little girl and was like running around.
Yeah, Livy was Christina. Livy was, and her name is Amory. I finally.
Oh, the woman that says that
Livy was Amory.
Having an affair with Ian and he killed her.
Yeah, because they brought up her name enough times to where it stuck, and I was like, oh, I know somebody named Amory. So
you made the connection.
I made the connection. Yeah.
So yeah, so then we'll pause on that for a minute. So I don't know what playlist you're watching it on, but the one that I had, Friday's episode was only 15 minutes. So
Yeah, it was 16 minutes on mine. Yeah.
okay, so then I like missed the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I looked in the comment, not the comments. I looked in the description that said missing the first 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Um, but so we opened and it was like Rafe and Caleb about to fight each other.
With a woman who I thought was Courtney, but she looked enough like Courtney. But I know, but then I looked at her. I was like, oh, it's not Courtney. I was like, wait, what is Courtney doing back?
It was
And
this
not Courtney from General Hospital, Courtney from Port Charles.
when you say Courtney, I thought Courtney from from General Hospital.
So there are two Courtneys. There's a Courtney in Port Charles, which if we do this on Patreon, link in the description, you'll find out who Courtney is. It's a whole thing.
Okay. Also came before General Hospital's Courtney years before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like this Russian woman. I don't know if she's a prostitute, but he calls her a Russian whore.
Mm.
Um, I think she thinks they're just gonna like have sex until he shows his fangs. And then Rafe shows up and they start to fight. Sorry, somebody's like speed racing down my block right now. Never fails. Never, no matter what time of day it is. So him and Rafe get into a fight. He calls him a slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Rafe has a stake. And it was the video quality, because it was dark and very fuzzy and kind of pixelated. Did Caleb stab Rafe with the stake?
Yeah, he stabbed Rafe with the stake.
And he also made note that Rafe is the only one, as far as he knows, even though we know that he knows Lucy's related somehow.
Yeah.
But that Rafe's the only slayer because he killed them all. Caleb killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure what was happening, because I was like, okay, because we missed 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm not sure if I missed something in another episode. I'm like, did Judd Allen like give him permission to be like down there as like human / slayer again? Like, so then they fight. He gets stabbed, and then the next scene, he didn't die, because I guess he's dead already, because Angel.
Yeah, his name.
He was like, he basically was like, thanks for reminding me how it felt when I died. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, did this actually happen? Or was this just them like putting it in his head and making him remember how it felt when he died?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if this is how he died, or if this is just like a,
like, was it a memory, or was it just like
simulation or something?
Yeah, because every time we see Caleb, he's still in the cave with no plumbing, except for sometimes his so yeah, I was assuming it wasn't real. It was either a dream, or just to remind him how it felt, or so. All right, so we're on the same page. It wasn't real. It was just
it wasn't real. It wasn't real.
Yeah. So now I guess we can talk about this. So Livy has all her memories, and then she goes to see Caleb, and she basically calls him out, and he's like, how did you remember? And I'm like, because she's powerful. And she's like, I'm gonna kill you. She's like, so she basically is like, you use me to do all your dirty work. But she knew what he was doing. Like, she knew all these things were happening. She's more mad that he just used her to do it.
Yeah.
So you were okay that he was manipulating all your friends. You're just mad that he used you to manipulate all your friends. Like, they're both bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. But I'm wondering if this is like the beginning of like this turn for Livy. You know how like later in the arc she's more manipulative and devious and everything like that.
Yeah, and I didn't see that, and I'm excited too, because I like a bad girl. And I know Kelly Monaco has it in her, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, well, I remember the last scene of Tempted, because I was home. I watched that live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I was just like, yeah, I was like, you were okay that he was manipulating your friends, but you're more mad that he used you to do it. Okay. Sure, fine.
Yeah, whatever. We'll roll it.
And then, like, I was kind of mad because it was like, "Stay tuned for scenes for the next Port Charles," and in my video, it was like, it just went to credits. I was like, "Oh, I don't even get that." She's
But then let's go back a little bit to when Caleb was in the catacombs with no plumbing.
Mhm.
Like he was just like messing with a candle.
Oh, I
Like
didn't notice
messing
that.
with a candle, and then he had like these flashes of him and Livy. Um and Eve just gives her baby to him.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, you need this. You need this more than I do. It's the baby.
Yeah, and when that happened, I was thinking, I'm like, "Livy stole this baby. She's had this baby so many times, like, she could just, like, take the baby to Caleb. Like, why do we have to do this roundabout game?"
Hmm.
Um, so I came to the conclusion, although this week was better, but prior to this week, I came to this conclusion.
Hmm.
I don't like Tempted as much as I thought I did, or what.
Yeah, I don't really like it as much. It's I would probably work. Let's well, I guess we could rank. Can we rank the arcs for now?
Yeah, we usually do at the end of the arcs.
This is really the end of the arcs.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I like Time in a Bottle more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I like Time in the Battle more.
But I guess we could do like a pre-ranking. It's probably not going
Let's
to
do
change
free
by the
ranking,
end.
yeah.
My favorite is Tainted Love, so that's one.
Yeah, mine too.
Two is Fate.
Hmm.
Three is Time in a Bottle, and four would be Tempted at this
Yeah,
point. Because I don't know, I just feel like Tainted Love had a better mixture of the vampire and like
yeah.
I don't know, it just flowed better. This feels
Yeah, so but
very
this feels like the third act breakup all arc.
yeah
And I feel like they could have done the idea of Caleb coming back a little better than this. Which
yeah
they do down the line when, we all know how this arc's gonna end. He's gonna be
yeah.
staked. But
I was just like, I just had the thought. I was like, they brought Michael Easton back for this. Like, he's not doing anything.
yeah, he's not really doing much. He's not doing much.
And I'm like, I remember him being more active. And I'm like, is that only going to be like the last 2 weeks of this arc? Otherwise, he
Yeah,
just sat in the catacombs the whole arc. Like, so that's why I'm just kind of like, meh.
yeah. And there were no and the thing about this arc is like usually like we get hyped for the promos and stuff like that. I did my due diligence to look up any promos for this arc. There were
Mhm.
only promos in the first 2 to 3 weeks, and then the last week has a promo,
Yeah, which you sent me on Facebook
which I sent you. Yeah, so
which I've seen that. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's it. That's all they had.
yeah, so yeah, and
It
then
almost feels like the network
I think they
knew it was a dud, and they were like, we're not going to run from Toronto.
I think there's like one promo that's just like that just tells you that's just clips from Tainted Love
Yeah.
clipped together and like with all the reviews of like the from like magazines and
Magazines. Right. Yeah.
trades and stuff like that.
Mhm. I remember that.
So
I was just surprised that SoapNet didn't make promos because usually they would make their own.
yeah, I wonder how much of it has to do with like they wanted to like not really. I wonder how much of it falls into the 9/11 thing.
You think so?
I think it might be that.
Because I remember they did promote Miracles Happen, and maybe because that was like Christmassy and it was like
Yeah, it's
uplifting.
Christmassy. It's like positive. It's
Yeah.
happy.
And then going forward, I feel like I remember the promos. So
Yeah,
like,
and then then there were more. Then they were like, okay, we can do promos again.
right. Hmm. Yeah. So I've kind of been like let down because I thought it would be like on the same level as Tainted Love, and it hasn't been like that. So,
Yeah,
and we have 4 weeks left, and I'm just like, all right, I'm ready to wrap it up, I guess.
yeah.
But was there anything else you wanted to mention before we go?
Okay, so no changes in the opening credits.
I
Like
feel like
you
that doesn't happen until
yeah, I think that
2002, right?
yeah, I think that happened. Yeah, I think there's just I think they just like I don't know. I wonder if Eve's still in the credits after
I was just gonna say, does Eve make it to
or
the new credits?
Gabrielle happened to the or Gabrielle is taken out of the credits because like poor Charles is notorious for leaving characters in the credits that have already left.
Like Scott.
You know, like Scott, for the longest time, Jake and Danielle were in the credits after they both left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was so weird. I was like, "What are you doing here?"
They were definitely gone by the time Jack showed up. Jack and Livy.
Yeah, they were gone by the time. Yeah, but so they had. Yeah, it was so weird. And then like, but they immediately took. I think they because she got recast. They immediately took Debbie Morgan out of the credits because she got recast. So
Oh, they recasted her?
yeah, they recasted her with an actress. I think she was on a different world.
Oh, in a different world.
Yeah, I think yeah, but not any of the main players. She was like maybe like a
Recurring.
supporting character. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I hope like things happen. Like we said, it's like it's weird because like they set up this
Mhm.
dramatic thing and then we're on Monday and then we're like in it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I just want something like amazing to happen.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I just thought of something. So she was Chris. So Livia was Christina on the phone,
Yeah.
but was she the girl Christina? Was she the girl that was running around?
That's what I took away from the red sweatshirt, whatever that thing was, shawl, because the
Oh.
little girl was wearing red.
Hmm.
I'm like, is that the same thing? It didn't look the same, but I just went with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and then they showed her like when she was in the catacombs as Anne Marie, and then how she like morphed back to Livy.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
assuming that yeah, Livy's been everything. She was the phone call, she was the little girl, she was Anne Marie.
Hmm.
Because even when she
Oh.
bumped into Jack, Jack saw Anne Marie, and then
Mhm.
when he picked up the scarf and looked up, it was Livy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed this, but at the bottom of the screen, there's like a little bug that says "tempted" and it has like the eyes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
And I'm like, is this the network or SoapNet? Like, I wasn't sure.
I think it was. I think SoapNet did this
Okay.
because the promos were SoapNet. When
Do you
I
think they did that because they were also airing Tainted Love and they wanted a different
Yeah, I
which
think that's
arc you were
probably what
watching?
happened. I think that's probably what happened.
Or do you think that maybe the YouTube user just did that?
No, no, no. So I think I kind of remember that being a thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't think YouTube user would have done that because like this looks like it was
A
a
network
network
thing.
thing. Yeah, you kind of could tell there's like a bug on the bottom that says tempted.
Right.
And I was wondering if the eyes changed. I was like kind of looking at it, I was seeing if the eyes changed
From
because
episode
like
to
in
episode.
tempted, yeah, from episode to episode, I wanted to see that,
Right.
or from seeing this, not seeing the scene from like from after commercial break. It's a different set of eyes.
Right. Act,
Yeah,
act from act to act, pretty much.
yeah, for act to act. Yeah,
All right. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for week 8 of Tempted, Port Charles. We're coming to the home stretch, 4 more weeks. So we're actually kind of like lined up with like the calendar right now because we're going into
yeah,
we ended on November 2nd, and that would be the end of this week. So we're kind
mhm,
of like on the same schedule.
yeah. So we
uh,
get the Christmas this year.
yeah. um, as always, you can find us on Patreon and on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Be sure to subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive episode watches of different soaps, days, the Port Charles pilot. We might do more Port Charles on there, pre-arcs. What else are we doing? We did some Halloween. Well, we've been
Yeah,
watching
Halloween, Salem Stalker.
the
Yeah.
Salem Stalker for Halloween. We did an As the World Turns. We did Guiding Light. Oh, we did Guiding Light Halloween.
Yeah.
um, and we did like an anniversary episode for As the World Turns that kind of masqueraded as a Halloween
Yeah,
episode.
Masquerade is a Halloween episode, yeah.
And we're also doing a weekly watch of Beverly Hills 90210. So
Yeah.
head over to Patreon, subscribe, and watch along with us.
Mhm.
And until next week, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.